You can't expect to run before you crawl.
That is the main problem. Why guys cannot just trust to their own process.
First off, it's completely arrogant, in my opinion, to come in here and tell us what you need. If you knew, why are you here then?
We're just rolling in from the summer. Guys are getting off their deload right at the end of season. The off season starts when we build endurance of the muscles again, find the movements, get the body back into shape.
Welcome back to the AOP podcast. My name is Art Salazar. I'm the CEO of AOP.
You guys know me already. I'm Fred, the pitching coordinator of AOP, and we have a special. Well, it's not a special. We're fucking tired of seeing that guy face every day, man. But I know you guys didn't like him the first time, but we're gonna give it another shot. We got.
I'm Dylan Silver, the strength and conditioning coach here at AOP.
All right.
So a fun fact about Silver, he did how would we call it? Like, he didn't purposely do this experiment, but he went on a 4-day trip and somehow found a way to gain 25 pounds.
In 4 days.
4 days.
I just wanted to prove to the guys that gaining weight's easy.
So he gained 25 and then he came back and lost it in 2 weeks. So he went from 300 to 275 now.
Jeez. No. From 260 to 240.
All right, great. So, fun fact.
Today's real topic will be, man, I hate this word. I cannot say it. I hate it.
Go ahead, let's hear it.
Periodization. Do I say it?
Yes.
Do I say it right?
That was good, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Say it.
Periodization.
No, it doesn't sound right.
All right, let's pretend I don't know what that means, Silver. Enlighten me on the meaning of this word.
So periodization, basically, and if I was going to explain this to a third grader, when we should train certain things at certain times.
Ah, okay. So you're saying that there should be a plan.
Yes, there should be a plan when you are training. It shouldn't just be the same thing for year round.
So you're telling me
Pretty
there
much.
should be a plan.
Yeah.
Ah.
Pretty much for the dummies. We are saying that we shouldn't be doing the same amount of reps, the same amount of sets, the same amount of exercise year around, pretty much. All right?
Exactly.
That's what we're saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
100%.
That's how we translate the MacBook language into a human being language.
Yeah, that's how you translate it.
Okay. All right.
So explain why that's important for a baseball player in the summertime.
So when we are training in the summertime, we are technically not in our season. If we're going off of college guys, high school guys, middle school, you name it. Yes, baseball is year round, but you have to have certain types of training and certain types of phases into the season. So in the summertime, it's our non-season, right? We just got off a season. We have our deload process of let these guys rest a little bit, give them about 10 days to let the bodies recover, recoup what the season just came on. Then this is where we train for that next season coming up. We push for PRs, learn movements that we need to learn, get into the inefficiencies in the lower half, for example, and use those inefficiencies to turn them into efficiencies.
Great. How did that make an impact of someone's progression, like on a year calendar, or doesn't mean on a year calendar, on a short period of time of training? Let's say that guys that come to AOP to train in the summer, how a correctly split of training phases can lead into through progress.
Well, like the overall progression is a big thing, right? It kind of depends on the type of athlete too. You know, if we have a kid that's gonna be a senior in high school and he's never touched a weight before, probably should work on technique and then building off of that technique, which can get you to get stronger, more powerful, getting used to certain planes of motion, whether that be, you know, rotating, for example. Now getting into the off-season phase of the progression of why I want to push for PRs. Everyone comes to training here wanting to get stronger, faster, and more athletic. This is the time to do it. Summer is the perfect time. We have 3 months to get absolutely after it in the weight room. In season, our prioritization isn't in the weight room. It's just maintaining what we worked on in the off season. And now we're in that off season. Now it's the time to go.
Okay. For you baseball players, basically, you got to understand that your body is not capable to handle too much different growing process at the same time. Mm-hmm. It's not capable to do it. Your body cannot handle you trying to be lower half more explosive, or at the same time that you're trying to put on body weight, and at the same time that you're trying to improve mechanics and throw hard at the same time. Like, everything goes into a processing and planning in order to, advance into a scale so your body is ready for the next part of the process journey, pretty much. Mm-hmm. For example, if you're a baseball player, you're throwing 82 as a junior, you're 16, 17 years old, and we found out that you have movement pattern deficiency or mechanics deficiencies, but at the same time you have way more deficiency on power outcomes, or how much force can you generate, lift, and all that. The first part of your training should be focused on the more important factor that is lacking into your development graphic, pretty much. So the first phase, the first month and a half that you have to spend, your main priority should be putting on power outcome into your body. Get stronger and powerful. It doesn't mean that you're not gonna work on getting your mechanics better, but it's not the main priority for you in order to throw 87, for example.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times, the reason why your body cannot move in these X, Y, and Z mechanics ways or movement patterns is because you lack power and strength. So when you get stronger, out of nowhere, you're gonna find out that your body's moving differently, and fix little pieces into your mechanics that, I wasn't not working on that. But yeah, because your strength, your body's now capable to get into X ranges of motion and hold in power position more efficiently and all that. Basically it, right? Correct me, Dr. Silver?
That's right. And, this off-season phase is more about changing the body composition. And then when we get closer into season, changing how the body moves. I think that's kind of like the main point of emphasis, right? A lot of these kids come in that we see a lot are 150 pounds, and they're wondering why I don't throw hard. Well, first of all, you weigh 150 pounds. You probably can't be able to squat 225 either. So, okay, well, my hamstring can't accept the force that it takes to throw 87, 88. Okay, so let's fix that. It's not the mechanics. Well, it is the mechanics, but deep down the root cause is what's in that muscle. Why can't that muscle support the forces that it can't? So we work on the hamstring strength, work on the power output, the way it absorbs force. Then we teach it how to move correctly. Then now we're throwing harder.
And that's something that I always talk with parents about, and the kids, and like trying to get guys to understand that you can't expect to run before you crawl. And that's basically the simple, most elementary, basic way to explain the minutia of what they're talking about, because you can't come in here and be throwing 81 miles an hour and tell me you need to work on your mechanics and that's what's going to help solve your problems. First off, it's completely arrogant, in my opinion, to come in here and tell us what you need. If you knew, why are you here then?
Yeah.
I mean, sorry to break it to you, but 99 out of 100 times, that is not the case. We have a plan, and just because you don't agree with it, allow us the opportunity to explain it And then maybe we can be on the same page when you realize, not that we're always right, but we have science, study, and backing to show why are we doing what we're doing, and here's the plan to break down, like you were saying. We're going to do this first, and then we're going to do this to then hopefully acquire this goal that you showed up here for. For me, it drives me insane when I hear these cases and kids will come up to us or me or whatever and say, oh, well, when am I going to work on this? Well, what about this plan that we just took 5 days making for you that has everything mapped out for you for the next 4 to 8 to 12 weeks sometimes? How about we go through this and then see if this problem that you think you have will correct itself by allowing us to just do our job? And it blows my mind, really, that, it's something that I've come to the conclusion a lot of the times is unavoidable, but it requires people to take a step back, take a deep breath, relax. Like I tell Silver all the time, take a deep breath and relax, slow down. Let's go one step at a time, one day at a time. And that's something that Fred's really good at, is getting guys to understand one small step at a time to acquire this meta goal that you have of whatever it is, 85, hamstring this or whatever, you fill in the blank. So, yeah, I mean,
A lot of the times, it's because guys are constantly seeing their cases in other people cases, which is not right. That fucked up their patient, their willingness to just, listen and wait for the process and all that. We got to remember that we are different words and machines than anybody in the room. Every single guy is very individualized, have way different stuff to work on, how to work on those, how to get to the point. Their improving pace is different on every single person and all that. So I think that is the main problem with that. That is the main problem why guys cannot just trust to their own process and hold to it. And instead of like seeing another guy that might be getting ready to pitch the next week, and then they see that guy throwing bullpen, and they're just gonna go to you right away. We're not gonna throw bullpen. I don't see bullpen so in the next 4 weeks. Like, dude, it's not your case. This is not your plan. This is his plan because he got a different needs. He got a different timeline and all that. So, but people are constantly doing that.
Yeah, and that's why I push the longer time frame, because I want people and families, kids, to understand that this is gonna be a process. There needs to be some kind of commitment to the process so that you give us, hopefully, the opportunity, again, that you're paying us to do our job and go through this system. Silver, what can someone expect from periodization if you're doing it right? What does it look like?
So let's start in the time frame we are in right now. We're just rolling in from the summer. Guys are getting off their deload right at the end of season. The off season starts when we build endurance of the muscles again, find the movements, get the body back into shape. And then month 2, month 3, going into the summer, we're chasing new PRs. We're chasing things that we couldn't accomplish last season and things that we need to work on last season. Let's just say our squat isn't 2 times our body weight. We're pushing for that, right? Deadlift can't deadlift 2 times our body weight. We're pushing for that goal. Let's just say in our 4th place numbers, we noticed that their fast twitch fiber development is really low. We're aiming for that. Getting the body prepared for the way that we have to move. That's this time of season right now. Then we go into usually our fall ball guys. Fall ball rolls around. We have a little bit of taper off in the weight room, but now we're starting to maintain it, get into a little bit of sport-specific movements, whether that be, instead of a normal barbell back squat, we go into a split lunge. We go to a reverse lunge. More movements that our body's going to get into on the mound, we see in the weight room. Then we get into preseason where we're not really at our PRs anymore. We're just moving bars faster. We're getting more explosive, getting more athletic, really hammering sport-specific movements. And then we get into season, and then it's just maintaining throughout the season. We don't want big drop-offs in weight. We don't want big drop-offs in squat metrics, power numbers, and just try to limit that taper off effect that we usually see in our athletes during season, because season's a long time. So then when we come back into our off season that next year, that bottom out that we had in the last off season is a lot higher, and we just keep building out that foundation. And that's what periodization usually looks like.
That's solid. And so when you follow that, what can you expect?
You can expect development, right? That's what everyone wants to do. Everyone wants to do is develop and get better, right? Another thing too is figuring out that workload management, right? Lowers the risk of injuries. People want to stay healthy all the time. If we can prioritize and periodization right, we just stay off the IL. And that's always the goal. I was always injured my whole entire life. I did the same thing 5 years straight, and no wonder why I had a knife in my arm, And that's why it's funny that you mentioned earlier too about kids coming in and saying like, oh, I should be doing this. And it's like, what? And they go, oh, I see him doing it. He's the same age as me. He plays the same position as me. Why aren't I doing the same thing as him? Well, it's funny because the quote of the day about 2 days ago was comparison is the thief of joy. And when you compare yourself to other guys, that's what's going to happen, right? You're always comparing. You're running a race and you're looking at the other people. Why are they succeeding and I'm not? Focus on yourself. Let us coach you. Let us prioritize the development of your process. And we have a kid in here who is 14 years old, couldn't even do a normal push-up, couldn't do a squat, nothing, moved terribly. And he asked me, he was like, when am I going to go to the next group of workouts? When am I going to start progressing into bench? And I think you know who I'm talking about here. And he finally made that goal. And it was the biggest smile on his face. But it took him about 5 months to get there. And now he's doing a lot better than all of our expectations, I thought. So it's really crazy to see how people try to explain to us how to do our job.
Comparison
is the thief of joy.
Is the thief of joy.
Hey, yeah,
that's a good one.
We gotta give it to you.
I'll give you credit.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Might be the best. Comparison is the best thief of joy. Those are the best 7 words that have ever come out of your mouth.
Yeah, thanks.
Ever.
All right. Wow. Now, can we switch into the MacBook?
The MacBook?
The MacBook language, and then I can translate it into a human being language.
Okay.
What are like the consequences of not following a proper periodization?
Well, in a baseball mindset, if I'm not following proper workload management, periodization, not going off of the principles of like the general adaptation syndrome, overtraining can happen. This is where we see negative effects of training. For example, a guy comes in throwing 90, doesn't do proper periodization, now he's throwing 85, max intent. Or they go high intent every single day, and they're wondering why isn't my velo increasing? Well, you're not giving your body proper rest, and you're not doing it at the right times.
You have a lot of experience with that.
I do have a lot of experience like that. And we also have some guys in here that kind of have that same mindset, and ironically, they're from the same exact place as I am too.
Really wonder if it's something on the desert air that has.
They all come from the same hole.
The same thing, man. Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's just you see the negative sides of training, and that happens a lot. I actually see it a lot too. The people, they train the wrong way, and they train too hard, and they don't hit the goals that they want. People always like to look in the mirror and look at how big are my biceps, but at the end of the day, their goal is I want to throw 95. That doesn't correlate.
You have a lot of experience with that, huh?
I do also have a lot of experience with that too.
All right. Basically, guys, like he's trying to say that if you're not changing and correctly adapting your way to train to the time of the year, you're not going to progress. You're going to get stuck. You're going to hit a plateau. You're going to see yourself throwing the same velocity, moving the same weights, and doing the same stuff all year, and instead of progressing, you're gonna slowly go down. A lot of times that translates into injuries as well, but most common is the fact that you're not getting better. You're not moving in any direction, and getting out of that is kind of hard. That's kind of hard.
It's like digging a grave for yourself.
Yeah, getting out of that state is really hard. It's really hard. Once there's guys that fall into like that high chronic stress level, fatigue level, their body, they just get used to it, that they don't feel anything, but they're not progressing at all. Pretty much.
Maybe, just maybe, there's someone out there that can help you. If you guys stop acting like you know everything and you have all the answers and you've got it figured out, then maybe, just maybe, you might start progressing. So I think that's a good place to finish.
Yeah.
I like that energy. Thank you for listening to the AOP podcast. You can check us out on Instagram as well as The Art of Pitching _ and then our website, theartofpitchingcorp.com. Thank you guys for listening. Like, subscribe, share this video with anybody that needs it. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Hey, you guys are listening. Lock the fuck in.